Solar is a key piece in the climate puzzle. The carbon emissions associated to solar are some of the lowest possible for any energy type. And the deployment of solar is growing exponentially worldwide. All this is largely because solar is so cheap nowadays, reaching LCOEs of $4 per kilowatt hour, including storage. So it's making less and less economic sense, and even the fossil people are realizing this. The fossil people. This low cost and exponential growth has been made largely possible thanks to one country, China. 97% of the solar industry today is dependent on China, a figure that makes the West slightly nervous, considering that solar is a key infrastructure and China is an authoritarian government, which doesn't align so well with Western political values. So where do we go from here? In this video, we'll give you a sneak peek under the hood of the Chinese solar industry. Why is Chinese solar so cheap? And what can we learn from this manufacturing powerhouse? Last month, Sai and I packed our bags, left the Netherlands, and headed to China. Here, Biosphere Solar is setting up its mass manufacturing, with a producer in Anhui province. This partner of ours has around 2 gigawatts of production capacity. That's 5 million solar panels per year. And China is estimated to produce about 1,200 gigawatts of solar panels per year, which is more than double what we're installing today. This is the first reason for solar being so cheap: outsized production capacity. It might even be too much production capacity, as manufacturers are competing and dropping prices lower and lower and struggling to make profits. But overproduction is not the only factor. Let's look at what global industries can learn from China. When people think of made in China, they often think of low cost, low quality, and often made possible through the exploitation of people and the environment. And although this might once have been the case, things are changing. The Chinese government is now placing increasingly stringent measures on environmental protection, and China is experiencing an aging population, which means that companies increasingly have to look for solutions, for example, automation. The Chinese solar industry is incredibly flexible and fast-moving. Why? Because they have established ecosystems of clusters of companies which innovate and scale on one another's products. This is a cluster effect, where entire regions are developed to specialize in one industry, where, for example, all the suppliers and parts manufacturers are very close by. This means that if I want a new machine, I can literally text my neighboring company and get the machine built within days. Let's address the elephant in the room. China is known for copying products. And although in the West this is seen as a very bad thing, we can actually turn this on its head. This copying enables companies to rapidly innovate at very low costs and to build on one another's innovations. And once the innovation is developed, the scaling process is also very fast, since China has a whole supply chain at hand. Let me show you what I mean. Solar panels are made of solar cells, which themselves are made of wafers, which is made from polysilicon. And although China only holds about 75% of the module production capacity, they hold up to 79% of the polysilicon supply chain, 97% of the wafer production capacity, and 85% of the cell production capacity, which means that this is really where China dominates the solar industry. Many of these industrial clusters are made possible by top-down action. Tax incentives, state subsidies, strategic industrial policies, all of these actively promote the manufacturing in key sectors. On top of that, the Chinese government has heavily invested in top-notch infrastructure for cheap energy, very fast transportation, and highly reliable communications. The icing on the cake is that China artificially lowers the value of its currency, which means that exported goods are comparatively cheaper to the rest of the world. Last but not least, a big reason for solar being so cheap and China being the powerhouse that it is, are the Chinese people and their work ethics. Although China has an aging population, it has top-level education, creating a large pool of highly skilled technical labor. One thing we notice when interacting with people here is that they work very hard, are very disciplined, and work much longer hours than we do in the West. Working with the Chinese industry is teaching us an enormous amount. And with our ReModule technology, we're striving to bring more transparency and circularity to the solar industry here.
My name is Emma. I'm a sales director here for overseas market.
你好，大家好，我叫张炳武。
How is it like to work with us?
First, it's very interesting. I want to say first, you people are very, very nice. You are very open-minded. That's my true feeling because it's a really, really new idea, new concept. We have no experience. To be honest, we do a lot of like different products and traditional solar panels, but this one is a very new idea to us, to the whole team.
这款新的产品，那对于我们来说，它区别于传统的光伏，它是一个环保型的产品，它主打一个环保的一个主题。那这个对于我们来说是一个比较新颖的一个概念。那我们在生产过程中，对我们的挑战呢是，它对一些设备需要一些专用设备我们联合开发一些专用的设备，来提高生产效率。那设备的精度都是一个很大的挑战。那我们在不断的摸索的过程中，然后尽量的完善这个产品，然后来尽快的把这个新产品然后推向市场。
The Chinese solar industry has been criticized internationally with claims of forced labor and pollution. That's why Biosphere Solar is working on creating transparent supply chains for its products, even in the notoriously opaque Chinese industry. We hope that this video showed you some nice insights about how the Chinese solar industry works. The key takeaway for industry leaders and policymakers is that we shouldn't just focus on manufacturing products, but also on creating entire value ecosystems. If you're interested in using Biosphere Solar's ReModule technology in a manufacturing facility or in a large-scale project, please reach out to us. You can find out more about our ReModule technology in this video. Thank you for watching, and let's create a circular and fair solar industry together. And don't forget to leave a donation in our GoFundMe page.